My name is Jarrett Hall. I live in the Portland area. I've been dealing with my family law case for 12 years. By the time I met Caroline, my case had become complicated, such that lawyers didn't want to take my case. In fact, the lawyer I had before Caroline dropped me in midstream, leaving me in great disadvantage. I feel lucky that I met Caroline outside the courtroom and that she was willing to take my case. Caroline didn't take my case because it was easy, it was a mess. She took my case out of a sense of compassion, which I very much appreciate. I would recommend anyone with a family law matter to try to retain Caroline at Rugged Law. I feel very lucky to have this firm. In my experience, in my long backstory, I've been everywhere. I've had plenty of lawyers. I don't plan on getting another one. I am embedded in this firm because they have my case for the long term. I've been dealing with a family law matter for over 12 years. Before I met Caroline at Rugged Law, I had lots of attorneys over the years. So in my experience with lawyers over time, when my problems were not complicated, they were fine. Once my problems became complicated, I had problems with lawyers dropping my case. I had problems finding lawyers. I heard lots of excuses, mostly invalid, why people would not take my case. I think my case looked like work. It didn't look like a scripted case, and that's where I came to appreciate Caroline almost right away, because she took my case knowing it was complicated, and it seemed also because I was suffering, desperate, um, and that no one was helping me. It's a lot of attorneys dropped me because my case seemed too complicated. In fact, when I met Caroline, I was under great duress. A lawyer who I was otherwise satisfied just had given me notice over email that he talked to his partner and was dropping my case. It was too complicated. Um, so when Caroline took my case, um, I very much appreciated it, and I had hearings like next week. She had no time to prepare. I find great value in the fact that she took my case. I very much appreciate it, and it seemed to be that she took my case out of a sense of decency, kind of compassion. She could see that I was suffering. When I met Caroline, had already been in a family law case for, a dozen years. Divorced in 2014, and lots of complicated litigation. But things had turned south very badly. Really, the court's actions left me in a condition where, like, I have no quality of life. It's horrible. I don't feel like I've been fairly treated either. But along the way, I'd also acted out, and so I had some petty criminal charges, and no lawyer would take my case. Or I've had lawyers. You know, right before I met Caroline, my lawyer that I had, which was a skilled lawyer. Um, had just left my case after discussing with his partners, because my case is complicated, and I had some criminal mixed with family law, and they want to follow a script. So he left my case. I met Caroline when I was at court trying to figure out myself how to get an extension so I could find an attorney. I'd interviewed everybody. I've heard every excuse for lawyers not taking my case. My cases work. It has a long backstory. It's complicated, and so I had problems getting legal representation. Meanwhile, my lawyer had dropped me with some pending court matters, like right around the corner. I was not in a good condition. I happened to meet Caroline in the lobby outside the courthouse, where I was asking people if they're a lawyer. I was still like just fishing, and kept finding the same thing, which either people want a scripted job, not a hard case. Um, and Caroline seemed different. I didn't know immediately, but I think that she has a sense of decency, um, empathy, and that's why she took my case. There was no advantage to take my case. We had, like, I think there was a court appearance next week, no time to prepare. She didn't take my case because it was easy. She took my case because I was suffering. I needed help. And without the firsthand experience of, I don't think I would have known to value that as much as I do. I've had lots of lawyers before her, and some of them, not all of them were ineffective, but I have unusual problems too.